Κυρίες και κύριοι, καλησπέρα σας. Καλώς ήρθατε σε ένα ακόμα Sportal Guest. Αυτή τη φορά έχουμε την τιμή να φιλοξενούμε έναν άνθρωπο ο οποίος έχει γράψει το όνομά του στα βιβλία της ιστορίας της Άρσεναλ, στα βιβλία της ιστορίας της Εθνικής Ομάδας της Αγγλίας. Μιλάω για τον Ρέι Πάρλουρ, ο οποίος θα μας μιλήσει και για το παιχνίδι που έρχεται ανάμεσα στην Άρσεναλ και τη Ρεάλ Μαδρίτης για το Champions League, για την προημιτελική φάση, αλλά και για αυτά που έκανε η εθνική μας ομάδα και τον περασμένο Οκτώβριο στο Wembley, στη μεγάλη νίκη κόντρα στην Αγγλία, αλλά και αυτό το θρίαμβο πριν από μερικές μέρες κόντρα στην Σκωτία. So, good morning, Mr. Parlur.
How are you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Very, very good. Thank you very much. It's a lovely summer's day here in England, so no, all good.
Okay. The same here in Greece, in Athens. It's a lovely day. So thank you very much for being with us today. So how is really life after football?
Well, you know, you do miss it. You do miss the, playing every week and the training sessions and all that sort of stuff. But you just got to be realistic, you know. Your body in the end really struggles. I had a bad knee injury towards the end of my career, which would just swell up after every game. So you have to make those big decisions to say you've got to call it a day. But, you know, I'm still involved. I still go to most Arsenal games and I'm a supporter now. So I really want them to do well and hopefully they can start winning trophies again. And yeah, you just got to enjoy it and embrace the moment and, you know, look back and say, look, I was very lucky to play in some unbelievable teams and win lots of trophies.
Yeah, you've played for over a decade at Arsenal, winning league titles, FA Cups, the Cup Winners' Cup in 1994. So what's the happiest moment you have throughout your time at the club? Maybe the absolutely brilliant goal in the 2002, if I remember correctly, FA Cup final against Chelsea.
Certainly that's up there. But, you know, I signed at Arsenal when I was 12 years old and you always had a dream one day, can I play for the first team and play in front of their supporters and all that sort of stuff. So when you make your debut, it's a big moment as well. I mean, I made my debut at Liverpool at Anfield, which was quite a daunting place to make it. And I didn't have a best of day, but I gave away a penalty in the end on my debut. So, but you learnt from that. And probably the best week, though, I've got to say, you just mentioned it, cup final. We beat Chelsea 2-0 at the Millennium Stadium. Mm-hmm. And about 5 days later, we went to Old Trafford and we had to win the game or even draw the game to win the double. So we ended up winning 1-0. Sylvain Wiltord scores the only goal of the game. So that week would always stick in my mind as the best week because I scored in the cup final. And I also got man of the match in that game against Manchester United, which was a really proud moment and just pleased that we could win the double again that season.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that game against Manchester United. Could you please share with us that funny story with the beers, Arσέν Βενγκέρ, and the upcoming match against Manchester United then after the final against Chelsea?
Well, this was the Chelsea game, yeah. And obviously I'm on the plane. You're absolutely buzzing to score a goal in a cup final because that was the only live game on TV when I was growing up. So my family made a big thing of it to watch every single cup final all together. But yeah, it was just, I had a beer on the plane and Arsen Vενγκέρ said, no drinking. Big game Wednesday at Old Trafford. So obviously, so I said, boss, I'm only going to have a couple of beers. I'm not going to go mad. But anyway, I slipped off to the back of the plane with my brother. And ended up having another, just back to drink the beer again. And he come down the plane and said, if I see you drinking once more, I'm going to fine you 2 weeks' wages. But I ended up getting off the plane, going to a restaurant. And the guy bought me a big bottle of champagne because I scored. And I ended up drinking probably about 2 or 3 in the end because I was celebrating. And I was just, you know, everybody wants to talk to you because you just scored. And they ended up having a drink Sunday as well. But when I got to the game on Wednesday, I was ready to go. Plenty of water Monday and Tuesday. And after the game, I always remember when I got man of the match, Arsen Vενγκέρ had a little word with me at the back of the dressing room and said, do you know what it was, Ray? I stopped you drinking that beer on that plane. And he didn't realise I've been out for 2 days having a drink. So, yeah, quite a funny story. But in the end, it all come out very well because we won the game and I got man of the match. So really the drink didn't affect me one bit about playing because it's all about momentum. And I was a fit guy anyway, so I could handle having a couple of drinks and obviously playing 4 or 5 days later.
Okay, and what was the worst moment at your club at Arsenal?
Do you know what? I've been lucky. Losing any cup final is always a nightmare. I mean, you know, you don't want to be in that dressing room after the game. It's a very quiet dressing room. Everybody's just looking down on their boots, you know, disappointment. But the game that always sticks out in my mind was 99 against Manchester United at Villa Park, FA Cup semi-final. It's a replay, and Roy Keane had already been sent off. And I got brought down for the penalty, and Dennis Bergkamp was taking the penalty against Peter Schmeichel, who's a fantastic goalkeeper. But Dennis misses, and then Ryan Giggs scores that wonder goal in the FA Cup, and we lost 1-0. And they went on to win the treble that year. But that game would always stick in my mind. If Dennis scores that penalty, we could have probably won the league as well, because we only lost by one point. And it would have been a double-double, which was unbelievable to do. And that game would always, if I could replay one game, that would be it. 99, and he scores that goal, and we go to the final again in the FA Cup final.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, there are a lot of people here in Greece supporting Arsenal. So we would like to know, how did you get the nickname the Romford Pele, which is also the title of your autobiography, if I'm not making a mistake.
Yeah, that's right. It was all down to Mark Overmars, a little left winger, Dutchman, really good little player, very, very good little player.
I remember him very well.
Yeah, he was a really good top guy as well. And it was in this training session. I went around a few players. I think I put the ball through Dennis Bergkamp's legs, and I absolutely hit a corking shot right past David Seaman. He didn't move, David. He went, whoa, that was going with some pace. And little Mark Overmars run past me and said, Ray, you are like the Romford Pele, right? And that's where I come from. And I looked at him and said, you don't even know where Romford is. He said, no, I don't know where Romford is. Anyway, that's how I got and that afternoon, he was doing a press with Arσέν Βενγκέρ. And one question was to Mark Overmars, can you beat Manchester United this year in the double to win the title at the Premier League? This was 97-98 season. And Mark Overmars said, we will definitely win the league because we've got the Romford Pele on our side. And they put it in the news. And that's how it stuck. And as you can see here, I've got a beer machine with a Romford Pele and my number on the back here as well. So it stuck in the end. And that's my Twitter now on X. And, you know, I've got the real Romford Pele. And that was my autobiography in the end. So, it seems to stick.
Mm-hmm. So you worked with Arσέν Βενγκέρ for a number of years, and there has been a whole debate over the last few years as to whether he was able to take full advantage of the wealth of talent that Arsenal had at the time. What do you think about it?
Well, certainly the one that really sticks out to us was the Champions League. You know, that was the one we really wanted. We obviously won the title, we won the FA Cups, we won doubles, we went invincible, but that Champions League was always the one. I know they got to the final in 2006, but we had a really top side. And 99 was the game where we lost to Villarreal, I think. Valencia. Mm-hmm. And that was the season where if we got through, we would have played Leeds United, who we knew very well in the Premier League, in the semi-final. But that we'd always look back. He certainly got the best out of our players, but Champions League seemed to elude us. I don't know why. We seem to always go... The luck would go against us, or something would go wrong. We'd get key injuries and all that sort of stuff. But he certainly got the best out of all the players. I mean, you know, the league, for me, the league is very important, the most important trophy to win, because it's throughout the season, and you've got to be consistent. You've got to be at it every single week. You need a big squad of players, good squad of players. But Champions League, probably any cup competition, you need that little bit of luck along the way as well. And we just seem to miss out on that little bit of luck. But, you know, that was the one we really wanted at the end, because when you've won the Premier League and the FA Cup and the League Cup, you know, Champions League is so important. And that would always be the regret you have, that you didn't at least win one Champions League. But, you know, that's it. But towards the end of his reign, probably Arsenal, it was probably a little bit too much for him. And, you know, the crowd were turning on the team as well. So I really felt sorry, because the players, when he had a squad of players when we played, any problems we had, we sort them out ourselves, you know, the players himself. Whether he had the personnel in the changing rooms to sort people out when they were not doing their jobs is probably what happened. And that's why he lost his job and moved on. But what a manager. deserves his statue outside this stadium at the Emirates, and he certainly helped my career. I played under him for 8 years, and he made me such a better player, Arsen. And what a lovely man as well.
Mm-hmm. Can any comparison be made with the current Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta in terms of football philosophy and player management, taking into consideration that he spent 5 seasons playing under him?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he probably had a little bit of Pep Guardiola as well, because he was his coach at, obviously, Man City. So he's seen him work. And Arsene Wenger, he's worked with him himself as well. If you can get a little blend of both, it could be a very good formula. But we all know the Premier League is a tough league. Man City have dropped off this year. Liverpool are fantastic, what they've done this year. But he's got good young players. And what I can see, the training sessions, he drives his players on. He demands, which Arsene Wenger done as well. When we trained, it wasn't long, probably an hour and a quarter, but the quality had to be there. You had to really concentrate. Intensity was very important in training sessions, and I think Mikel Arteta does that with the team they have now. And he likes a bit of fun, which Arsene Wenger had as well. I mean, you can't be serious all the time. You've got to have that bit of humour with the players, and make sure you're happy as well, because it's a very pressurised job. You have to, especially playing for Arsenal, you have to win every week really, or you're under pressure. But you've got to turn off at times, and that's what Arsene Wenger did, and I'm sure Mikel Arteta does the same as well.
Mm-hmm. Arsenal last time won the Premier League in 2004, when you were still playing. Actually, it was your last season at the club before you moved to Middlesbrough, and a lot of years. Why is this happening? And do you see it coming, the Premier League title for Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, again, Man City have gone to another level. I know they've dropped off this year, but, Arne Slott's come in and done a great job at Liverpool. They're not too far away. I think the burning question is always going to be, they've got a player who can score the goals, a striker, which we had. We had four very good strikers when I was there, in Sylvain Wiltord, Carnu, Dennis Bergkamp and Thierry Henry. So, at the moment they're relying on Marino and Havertz, who are probably more midfielders. So I think that's the burning question now this summer. It looks like Liverpool will win the league this year again. And it's a situation now, Arsene Wenger Mikel Arteta has to go into that transfer window in the summer and try and get the right striker up front who can finish the chances. I know Saka's been out as well. He's a massive player for Arsenal. So, look, they're not far away. They really are. If they can get youngsters improving as well. We've seen Wenger come in. He's been brilliant. Miles Lewis-Skelly's got his England call-up left back. He's a great youngster as well. So they've got good young players there in Odegaard, Saka, Declan Rice is in that midfield. It's just that final bit of the jigsaw now, which could be a striker who could score you 20, 25 goals a season. And that might be the last bit, what they need to win that Premier League title.
Now they'll face Real Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Do you think they have any luck against a team that has dominated the competition in recent years?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We all know that they're underdogs to get through to the semi-finals. But the one thing about Real Madrid, they do give you a chance. They will attack you, and it's up to Arsenal to win the ball back in good areas and then quickly pass it through the lines and maybe hit him on the break. Real Madrid. But the first game is very important. They're very much concentrated because we all know how good they are going forward, Real Madrid, and the back four are going to play their part maybe. And if you can somehow take a lead to Real Madrid in that second leg at the Bernabeu, then whether he changes tactics a little bit more defensive-minded, and maybe try and hit him on the break again away from home. But I think that Real Madrid always find a way to get through to the latter stages of the tournament. But I'm really hoping all the eggs are in one basket now for Arsenal, that they can really turn up over 2 legs and maybe get to that semi-final, which would be great for the club and gives them a great chance to get into the final.
Mm-hmm. Speaking for Real Madrid, how do they manage almost every year to be extremely competitive in the Champions League and lifting trophies, even when they are not very well in the Spanish league, in La Liga? What is the secret of their success?
Well, they just seem to always turn up at the vital moments. The players obviously respond to Ancelotti, and it's a situation where it's amazing to see how a brilliant side like Real Madrid, even if when they're having off days, they seem to somehow get through to the latter stages of the tournament and got a great record in it. It just seems to suit them at times. They can rest players probably as well before big games. I'm sure they can see before they play Arsenal, their top stars will be rested, where when you're in the Premier League, every single game is so important if you're going to try and win the title, where, the second string can come in for Real Madrid and play one of the bottom sides and beat them comfortably still, where you can't do that in the Premier League. You can't be playing Leicester's and who are in the bottom three, Ipswich's, and rest 6 of your key players because you'll get beat. And that's the difference in the two leagues, if I'm being honest. But credit to Real Madrid, they always seem to get to the latter stages and they seem to turn up on the big occasions, which Arsenal need to do that over the two legs now.
Yeah. This year in England, and not only in England, in Europe, they are talking about Manchester City and Manchester City's problems. I mean, we see them losing games that they did in the past, except when Rodri was missing. So now he's missing for a much longer period of time. Is it part of the problem or the whole problem?
Well, he's part of a problem. I don't think it's the whole problem because you can't just rely on one player to be successful. But he's such an important player for Manchester City. You see the record when he was playing. I think he only lost one game or in a year or year and a half. So it just shows you how important he is. But I think it's just that confidence. They've had a couple of injuries as well. To key players. Everybody's aging. De Bruyne is getting that little bit older, and he can't play every single game now. Players have been off form a little bit, Foden, and at times during the season. But Man City will be back. There's no doubt about it. It's just a bad season for Man City this year. They've got to forget about this season. They've still got a chance for the FA Cup, but they've got to forget about the league title this season and think about, right, how do we improve next year? But you told me before the season started they're going to lose 7, 8, 9 games this season. I would have said you was mad. It's like Leicester winning the league back in when it was 2016. You would have given them no chance, but I would have given them no chance of losing that amount of games this season because of the record they've had over the last 5 or 6 seasons. They've been an unbelievable force. But they will be back. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed this year with Arsenal because everyone was talking about Arsenal, Man City, who's going to win it. And no one mentioned Liverpool. And now Liverpool look like they're going to go and win it when Man City have had a really off season. So it might have been an opportunity for Arsenal to go and win the league this year.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Greek national team now. They defeated England at Wembley last October for the Nations League. And a few days ago, they also defeated Scotland at Hampton Park with 3-0. Overturning the score of the first match in Karaiskakis. Were you shocked by these results?
No, not really. I think the Greek teams are very good. I mean, the Greek national side, you can go back to when you won the Euros. When was that? 2004, was it? Something like that?
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
2004. That's not bad memory for me there. But they've always been a very competitive side. It was a very good performance at England. I remember watching the game and they deserved it, especially. And you beat a Scottish team who, they've got good young players and they are improving a bit, Scotland. But that's just great for the nationality. If you're Greece, you're probably quite excited. Greek, if you're quite excited now about the national side. And, they've just got to try and keep bringing players through, keep improving players. You want players who are in that team, who are playing all around Europe. Playing in England, Germany, Spain, and that will make your national team a lot better. So I'm sure at the moment you've had some really good results and you just got to keep it going now. And it's great to see that they're doing well.
Have you singled out any one of the Greek football players and what do you think of Mavropanos and Vlachodimos that they're playing in the Premier League?
Yeah, no, I've seen obviously at the back. He used to be at Arsenal for a time. So I remember watching him now, and he's at West Ham now. He's a steady player. He's a decent player, but it's very good experience when you've got quite a few of your players playing, as I said before, in Europe, and they're learning to playing against the better players, which they know to expect when you're playing national team, and they can probably bring across to the other players in that national team as well to say, look, this is what standard we've got to be at if we're going to compete and be a nation that people fear. And that's what it's all about. Tournament football, how far can Greece go? Can Greece go to win it again like they did in 2004? Again, you need a little bit of luck along the way. Very good defensive unit it was back in 2004. Didn't concede many goals. And you've got to get that style of football where you're hard to beat, but you've got dangerous players going forward. And if they can get that right, then I'm sure they could be a good nation going forward.
Mm-hmm. As I can recall, when Arsenal signed Socrates Papastathopoulos in 2018, you said that he's going to be a really good signing, that he's a traditional defender just like Tony Adams, that he's very experienced, he's a big game player with leadership skills. Did he finally live up to your expectations?
Yeah, I thought he was very good. Again, you always got to give. It's very difficult when you come into a team like Arsenal. You've got to be up and running. Yeah, you've got to be. You can't have too many bad games, if you know what I mean, because the squad is very big and you might miss out on a few. But it's a situation where it's great that they're coming into the club and they've been noticed because Arsenal got a very good, obviously, scouting network. And it's a situation where he done really well, and I was really pleased that he got his opportunity and played. But it's a situation where it's great to see young players, Greek players coming through. I'm sure there's lots of people looking at different teams. I know you've got a good league yourself. Mm-hmm. But it's a situation when I was playing against Panathinaikos and people like that, it was always a very, very tricky game, always very hard, and the crowd really got behind them. It was difficult place to play, So they've just got to keep improving and get, as I said before, get as many players. You want to keep them in your own league, but also if you do get opportunities to move, to play for the big clubs around Europe, then it's only good for your national team going forward.
Which football club from Greece do you know best and why?
Panathinaikos was always the one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just asking because Olympiacos won the Conference League last year.
Yeah, we always seemed to get Panathinaikos. I remember playing at Wembley when Panathinaikos come there and we beat them 2-1, I think it was. But they was always very competitive and very tough. But away from home, the crowd were very hostile. It was all you was in a game, especially. But yeah, Panathinaikos always comes up in my mind sometimes when I think of Greek football, and because we seem to play them quite often.
Mm-hmm. So you played for England in an historic match for Bulgaria. That was the last game of Christos Stoichkov for the national team. What do you remember of Christos Stoichkov in the 90s when he was one of the best players in the world?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we played against him at Barcelona when he played for Barcelona as well, with Arsenal. So he was a special player, really good on the ball, strong, both feet, scored plenty of goals and, obviously a Bulgarian legend. So it was a very honour to watch him play and play against him. He was a special player. He's up there with the best. If you can look at who's played over the years in certain Barcelona. I remember that Barcelona team back in the day. I mean, there's some Rivaldo, Figo, you had Cocu in midfield, you had Luis Enrique, Cliver up front. They always have special players, Barcelona, and he was one of them. Stoichkov, he was an unbelievable player, really, really talented player.
Mm-hmm. Actually, a few Bulgarian players left a mark in the Premier League, such as Dimitar Berbatov, who used to play in Greece with PAOK, Stilian Petrov. What are your impressions of them? Do you remember them playing?
Yeah, Petrov, of course. Yeah, he was a very good player. Midfielder. He had his problems in the end. It's nice to see him really recovering now. But he was always a really competitive player, very good on the ball. I didn't really remember the other guy, but Petrov.
Berbatov,
he was. Yeah, he was a very good player, Petrov, and he had a really good career. Very well known in the Premier League and obviously Scotland as well. So yeah, he was a very good player, very good player.
Mm-hmm. So since joining Netbet as an ambassador in early 2024, is it correct?
Yeah.
24. You have actually become synonymous with the brand's fun, interactive and responsible approach for sports betting. You've been a professional footballer for years. You have also worked as sports radio commentator, let's say sports commentator. And now something totally different. What is more difficult, after all?
Well, yeah, I mean, you love being an ambassador of, and it's such a good. It's good to be involved every week. You're bringing your views across. It's all about opinions, football now, and it doesn't mean I'm always right, but you got to have your opinion to say about a game. And sometimes it's difficult because you want your team to do well, and when they don't do well, you have to be honest and say, look, it probably wasn't good enough, and criticise them a little bit, but you try not to. But Netbet have been great with me. I've been up to their offices, a couple of times, and we met all the staff, and they're very hard-working. But it's a very competitive place to be in, and I'm just pleased I can help them to get it out there. And there's lots of obviously betting sports brands around, and these are one of the best for me. So I'm very honoured to be part of it. I'm also obviously do a little bit of talkSPORT and watch lots and lots of football. I love football. When there's a game on, which is quite often now, most evenings I can watch a game, and whatever league it is, I'll try and watch it if I can. So it's just nice to be involved still in football. And as I said before, I'm an Arsenal fan. I go to most home games now, and I'm just cheering them on. And lucky enough, I've got 5 children, and they all support Arsenal as well, which is great.
Is there something that you want to tell to Arsenal supporters here in Greece?
Just to say thank you very much. I mean, it's so important, the supporters all around the world. It's amazing. I'm very lucky sometimes to go on tour with Arsenal. And I know they go to America. They're going to Middle East this year on pre-season tour. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they go to Europe as well. But the supporters around the world are so important. I mean, I'm sure you've got a great supporters club there in Greece for Arsenal, and you get behind the team every single game. And it's a big thing for a lot of people. It's a big part of my life, being a footballer playing for Arsenal, and I do respect everybody who spends a lot of money trying to support the team, trying to support them all the way to win trophies, and so I just want to say thank you for all that to you guys, and hopefully one day I'll come to Greece and thank you all in person, which would be lovely.
Okay, Mr. Πάρλουρ, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for being with us. And I wish you all the best.
And good luck to the Greece national team. Hopefully they can do well. All the best.
Thank you very much. All the best.